Okay, you ready for the truth? I've been kind of talking about this for a long time, but we gotta sometimes remind those sitting in the back and peeking in the bushes.
It is the foundation of Judeo-Christian belief and has influenced Islamic traditions as well. But what if the version we've been told is a distortion of something older? The story of Adam and Eve is one of the most well-known myths in human history. It is the foundation of Judeo-Christian belief and has influenced Islamic traditions as well. But what if the version we've been told is a distortion of something older? What if the real story was buried, rewritten, and manipulated to serve an agenda? Beneath the polished religious narratives, there are strange inconsistencies, hidden texts, and darker truths that suggest the Adam and Eve story is not what we think it is. The oldest version of Adam and Eve is not biblical. Most people assume the story of Adam and Eve originated in the Bible, but that is not true. The earliest version of the story predates Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. It comes from Sumerian and Akkadian mythology, the tale of Enki and Ninhursag. In this ancient myth, a god named Enki lived in a paradise garden but defied divine law and was punished. The similarities between this story and the Adam and Eve myth suggest that the biblical version is a retelling of something much older, altered to fit the emerging monotheistic religions. The question is, why was the original version erased? Adam wasn't the first human. The hidden story of Lilith. One of the greatest secrets buried by religious institutions is the existence of Lilith, the first woman. In early Jewish texts, Lilith was Adam's first wife, but she was not created from his rib. Unlike Eve, Lilith was made from the same dust as Adam.
Okay, first of all, it's not an actual rib. I gotta keep inserting that. It's not an actual rib. It's the RNA. It comes from a woman.
Equal to him in all ways. When Adam demanded that she be submissive, Lilith refused and abandoned him. As punishment, religious texts later demonized her, turning her into a monster, a succubus, a baby-stealing demon. Why was Lilith erased from mainstream teachings? Because she represents defiance, a woman who refused to obey. If the real Adam and Eve story included a powerful, independent first woman, what else was changed? The Garden of Eden wasn't on Earth. The story tells us that Eden was a paradise on Earth, but ancient texts suggest otherwise. Some scholars believe Eden wasn't a physical place, but a different realm. The Hebrew word for garden, gan, could also mean an enclosed hidden space, possibly another dimension. Ancient Persian and Mesopotamian myths describe a divine realm where gods created the first humans as servants. The idea that humans were banished from Eden aligns with ancient myths about gods keeping their creations ignorant and enslaved. Was Eden never meant to be a paradise but a prison? The forbidden fruit was never an apple. The fruit that Adam and Eve ate was not an apple. This is a later invention. The original Hebrew text does not specify a fruit at all. In ancient Sumerian texts, divine food often represents knowledge, not a literal fruit. In Gnostic traditions, the serpent is not a villain, but a liberator who gave humans divine knowledge. Some scholars argue that the fruit is symbolic of awakening, free will, and breaking free from divine control. Was the real sin of Adam and Eve not disobedience, but enlightenment? The serpent was not Satan. Christianity teaches that the serpent in Eden was the devil, but this is not what the original texts say. In Genesis, the serpent is called Nakash, which simply means shining one or bringer of knowledge. There is no direct connection between the serpent and Satan in the earliest Jewish texts. In Gnostic Christianity, the serpent is actually a hero helping humans escape the control of a false god. This raises a chilling question. Was the real villain of the story not the serpent, but God himself? Was God in the Garden of Eden not the real God? The Gnostic Christians believe something shocking. The God of the Old Testament, the one who created Adam and Eve and punished them, was not the true highest God. He was a lesser, flawed entity known as the Demiurge, a jealous, tyrannical ruler who kept humanity blind and powerless. The true higher God existed beyond the Demiurge, but was hidden from humans. The serpent was actually a messenger of the real creator, trying to help Adam and Eve escape their false reality. This would mean that humanity has been worshipping an imposter for thousands of years. Who were the others that lived outside of Eden? After being expelled from Eden, Adam and Eve had children, but suddenly we are told that their son Cain goes to another land and finds a wife. Who were these other people? The Bible never explains where Cain's wife came from. This suggests that Adam and Eve were not the first humans, but simply one group of many. Some ancient Jewish texts describe pre-Adamic races, beings that existed before or alongside Adam and Eve. This aligns with scientific evidence that modern humans are not 6,000 years old, but hundreds of thousands of years old. The hidden meaning of the story, a warning, not a lesson. If we strip away the religious interpretations, the real message of Adam and Eve becomes something terrifying. They were created in a controlled paradise. They were kept ignorant and obedient. A being, the serpent, gave them forbidden knowledge. They were punished not for evil, but for learning the truth. Does this sound like a lesson about sin, or does it sound like a warning? What if the Garden of Eden was never a gift, but a trap? What if humanity's original sin was simply waking up? What if the God that banished them wasn't protecting them, but trying to keep them enslaved? Final thought, the greatest lie ever told? The Adam and Eve story we know today is a heavily altered version of something older, something more unsettling. It was rewritten to emphasize obedience over knowledge. It erased Lilith, the original woman, to promote submission. It turned the serpent from a liberator into a deceiver. It removed hints of other beings and other realities. What if the real lesson of Adam and Eve isn't that humanity fell from grace, but that we escaped a prison? And what if those who rewrote the story never wanted us to know the truth?
That's true. That goes back to the Book of Enki. Talks about Enlil, how we were made. The Bible everybody reads is about two gods, demigods, Enki and Enlil. Again, we were made. We were the cattle. In the Bible, we're in a prison. Enlil wants you to obey him and bow down to him, for he who is like God but is not God. They did erase Lilith. I did read about that, about how maybe Lilith's children we're in Tara right now. It all fits, right? Christianity has besmirched, distorted the truth. I mean, think about it. Let's go back to basics. They want you to really believe they ate an apple. So you believe what you want. This is close to what resonates to me personally on my journey. Always has, as soon as I started reading this stuff, because I've never truly believed the stuff that they tell us here. We are in the upside down, and they want you to pray to a God who wants you to submit. For you are true divine creator God of all that is. You are a beam of divine light. You are a soul essence here. You are not separate from. You are always one with. For you do not need to submit or bow down to anyone. For you are creator God of all it is. You are universal life force. You have the breath of life in you. Divine feminine, you bring life through your body. Ta-da! But believe what you want.